Are we finally seeing the start of a buyer's market in Atlanta? There's a lot of signs pointing in that direction. Inventory is way up, the pace of sales is way down. In fact, last year's total sales volume was at its lowest point since 1995, 30 years ago. And last year, 70% of realtors sold either 1 or 0 homes. Tough year, for real. So let me show you where we've been the last 6 years, and then let me tell you why I think prices are going to start to level off, maybe ease a little bit in Atlanta. Let's take a look at where we've been over the last 6 years. This is my chart of the median sales price since 2019. On the top left, we see in orange, January 2019's median sales price was a svelte $250,000. That means half the houses in Atlanta sold for under $250,000 in 2019. Look at this sea of black numbers and you'll see 4 red numbers here, and those are the only 4 months over the last 6 years where prices fell year over year. And these are fairly insignificant drops. So the price trend for Atlanta has been moving relentlessly upward for about 6 years. And you'll see on the bottom right that last year's average increase was about 3.8%. So prices in Atlanta went up just under 4% in 2024. A big part of the reason for these price increases is that inventory has been very tight since the pandemic. But look what happened in January. We had a 15% year-over-year increase in new listings last month, and the number of available homes continues to climb. That inventory continues to pile up. It's not being absorbed by the market. Now we have 47% more homes on the market in Atlanta than we did 1 year ago. In fact, the number of homes for sale in Atlanta is at its highest level in the last 5 years. You know, a lot of buyer demand is still sitting on the sidelines. You have high interest rates, high prices, insurance is up, utilities are up, HOA fees are up. So all of that is acted to really depress buyer demand. So what does Economics 101 say? When you have a high supply and a low demand, prices should start to fall. Well, to that point, the average home in Atlanta is now selling for around 95% of its original list price, a number we haven't seen again in about 5 years. What that means, simple math, is that if a house is on the market for $100,000, it's probably going to close about 5% lower at $95,000. Let's look at days on market. That's the number of days it takes for a house to go under contract. It's currently at 35 days. Again, the highest number we've seen in 5 years. And one more number that really points to the turning of the tide is months of inventory. That number is currently at 3.8 months. That's the highest number we've seen since 2015. Of course, this varies depending on the neighborhood, the quality of the house, the local schools, the amenities. So if you're interested in a particular zip code, just shoot me a text and I'll send that information over to you. One thing I can tell you for sure is that houses that need a lot of work are taking much longer to sell. Buyers do not want to borrow money at 7% and buy a fixer-upper. They want a move-in ready property. So sellers who are listing homes that are dated or worn out are going to be looking at a lot of offers below the market average. So all the signs are pointing to big changes in the Atlanta market. Are prices just going to fall off a cliff? I don't think so. I think we're going to see some flattening off, maybe some price erosion. Hopefully the dollar strengthens and allows people to sort of bridge that gap from the inflation over the last several years. What's happening now is that sellers are realizing that life goes on. You know, if you want to move to be close to your grandkids, you don't want to wait forever. If you want to upsize or downsize or retire to the mountains, life goes on. You need to go ahead and make that decision now. So I think a lot of the sellers who kept their property on the sidelines for so many years are finally realizing, hey, it's time to make a move. We can't control everything. We can only control what we have right now. Let's go ahead and get that house on the market. Let's go ahead and make that move. My advice to sellers is, even if prices came down 5% in Atlanta, you're still up big time over the last 5 years. It's almost not even worth worrying about. If you've got a goal, like I said, retire to the mountains, move closer to the grandkids, downsize, whatever it might be, it's still a great time to get your house on the market. There's still enough demand in Atlanta. You're still going to get a very favorable sales price. Go ahead and do it now. And my advice to buyers would be, go ahead and get fully pre-approved. That puts you in the position of a cash buyer. Get out in the market, start paying attention, visualize that property that you want to own, figure out what neighborhood you want to be into, and then two things: you want to be patient, wait for the right property, but when that property comes along, patience is out the window. You want to be very aggressive, move on it, go ahead and lock it up. Long term, everything still points to growth in Atlanta. We have a fantastic economy. We have a fantastic climate. The people here are lovely. Everything points to continued growth in Atlanta. There's no reason not to go ahead and make your plans and move to Atlanta, or move from one neighborhood to another in Atlanta. So as always, if you're thinking of making the move to Atlanta, making a move in Atlanta, buying an investment property in Atlanta, feel free to reach out to me. My contact information is in the box below. I love to talk to people. I'm a font of information. I just basically spend all day, every day, talking to people about real estate. So I'd love to have that conversation with you. Feel free to reach out anytime. Thanks for watching.